Hey LeGrand Alive, this is Coffee with Will, and I'm here today with Patty Sandoz, who is a math professor up at Eastern Oregon University and the president of the Grand Run Symphony here in the Valley. And today we're going to talk a little bit about music and the symphony and just whatever the heck we want to talk about. So thank you so much for being here.
All right, thank you for
Patty.
having me.
So tell me a little bit about how you got involved with the Grand Run Symphony and just what is it about music that you love so much?
Gosh, what do I like about music? I
know it's a very broad question.
Be transported someplace else, listening to music and admiring anybody who can make music and make it sound beautiful. I'm here because 10 years ago, my husband gave me a cello when I retired from LeGrand School District as a math teacher, and I started taking cello lessons, and I just kept plugging away at it until eventually I got asked to be the liaison person between the Grand Run Symphony Association and the Student Symphony, of which I have been playing in for a long time. And so I was the liaison person, and then that led to greater involvement in the Symphony Association. And till a year and a half ago, I got elected president of the Symphony Association. So that's my history in a nutshell.
So let's talk about the interesting sort of the interesting connection between math and music, because music is very much seen as an art, which is very primarily right brain, very primarily used as sort of an expression of the human condition, emotion, those kinds of things. But math is oftentimes seen as, you know, this very logical, very progressive, very progress and what am I looking for? Sort of process-oriented, very left brain, very masculine, but at the same time, these two things are intricately intertwined and they are inseparable from each other.
Yes.
So how do these two things, math and music, that you're involved in, kind of like, do you find connections between them? Or?
Well, yeah, first of all, in the structure of music, and the music that we have here in the United States or European music, you can find fractions all over the place in music. So there's that connection. I can't speak eloquently to your question, but what I can speak to is this connection between what we're capable of doing. So prior to the camera rolling, we were talking about my job as a math teacher and the math brain and what we're each capable of doing. And I am here to be a primary example of there's no such thing as a math brain and there's no such thing as a music brain or math gene or
we were talking about this because I was saying how bad I was at math in college.
Or a gene for math or a gene for music, because what we have learned through a whole bunch of different research projects is that everybody's capable of doing high school math. Everybody's capable of being a musician. So we can all grow into it. Now, some people are going to learn it faster than others, and that's just the way things are. But we can all do it. We just have to be open to tough times and being willing to work through them. So that's how I came into orchestra music. I loved listening to orchestra music. I loved piano. I loved stringed instruments especially, and I was always challenged how anybody could make their fingers do all those things and have it come out beautifully. And I wanted to challenge myself to do that. Because when I was a kid, of course, I believed that there are some people who can do that and there are others that can't. But as a teacher, I've learned otherwise. And so I wanted to challenge myself to be that person who could grow into being a musician. And I'm still on that learning pathway.
Sure.
In no way, shape, or form do I call myself a great musician. I am still learning, and I consider myself only an advanced beginner.
Absolutely.
But I'm willing to work at it.
Well, and it's cool that the symphony will open its doors to people who are still learning and still growing and still kind of now are still kind of coming into that.
Right.
And so just so you know, LeGrand, there is a Grand Run Symphony concert coming up, 2 concerts, if I'm correct.
Well, actually, 3 of them.
3 of them. Okay, so I'm going to let you tell a little bit about when and where they're going to be.
Okay, so we have 3 concerts coming up. So the first one for the mainstream audience will be Wednesday, November 16th, 7:30 p.m., Mackenzie Theater, on the EOU campus.
Sure.
And we have a theme of magic, mystery, and majesty. That's the theme. So our conductor, Zeke Vetro, has selected various pieces of music that serve that theme. That's the first concert. And that concert's going to be repeated Saturday, November 19th in Baker City at Baker High School Auditorium. That concert will start at 7 p.m. Now, there's a third concert, and it's actually the first one of the set of three, and it will be next Wednesday at 1 p.m. It is called the Children's Concert, and it's not necessarily open to the public. It is for children in grades 3 through 6, I believe it is. So we invite all kids in grades 3 through 6 in Wallowa County, Union County, and Baker County to come to LeGrand, to Mackenzie Theater, where we will perform a selection of our evening concert program. And by the way, homeschoolers are also invited. So we will fill the house. Every seat in Mackenzie Theater will be filled by kids and their teachers coming to listen to various parts of our program. And then following that concert, we have what's called an instrument petting zoo, where out in the foyer of Loso Hall, we will have tables filled with violins, and all the kids are invited to put a violin under their chin, put a bow in their hand, and saw away and listen to the sound that comes right up
That's
by their ear.
That's a little bit terrifying. If I were the owner of that like $1,000 violin, and I'm like, be careful.
Okay, but we don't put those kinds of violins out there.
So these are the
student violins.
Student violins.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, student violins.
Did you know? Gosh, I heard it. I was like, it was crazy. The most expensive, I think it was the most expensive instrument was a viola that has ever been. It was a viola that was sold for something like $6 billion or something like that. It was made by this master viola maker, and I was like, when my friend Zach Mendenhall, who plays the viola, told me that, I was like, wow. You know, I'm just blown away by how expensive and how high quality some of these instruments can be.
Yeah, that should have security guards around it, and the viola should be in a plastic case.
Exactly, it probably does. Like, you know, only like Jesus and like, you know, only Jesus gets to play this viola. Yeah. So my last question for you, and then we'll finish up, is you've talked about teaching because you taught primary. You taught when you were younger. You said you retired.
My primary years.
Your primary years. You taught when you were at LeGrand School District, and you're trying to bring kids into this musical area. What is it about teaching and music and children that getting these things together that's so important for our valley here?
Well, I just think that exposing kids to a wide variety of experiences is critical. Rather than narrowing them, exposing them to a wide variety, because who knows where they can find their passion in life. Maybe they'll find their passion in books. Maybe they'll find their passion in writing. Maybe they'll find their passion pursuing mathematics, or maybe they'll find it in music or sports. Who knows? But we want to expose our kids. I mean, this is me as a parent talking. I want to expose my kids to a variety of experiences, because you just don't know where they will find their passion.
Sure.
And music, giving them that opportunity, whether it's something that they're going to pursue as a career or something that they pursue as an avocation, we don't want to shut their doors on them. We want to expose them to everything that can enrich their lives. Music can enrich lives, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting with me.
Thank
It was
you
a pleasure.
for having me.
So thanks, LeGrand Alive. This video was brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Grande Ronde Hospital, Marketplace Family Foods, Valley Realty, and See Bright Dentistry. Tune in for more local content to legrandalive.tv. I'm Will Bowman.